what's happening in Russia, it's probably anything but politics, because when you say politics in America or in Western Europe, people think about campaigns, debates, elections, political advertising. So in Russia it's all different, because we're not fighting to win elections, we're fighting to have elections. So that's why even talking about the state of democracy, it will be an exaggeration. And Vladimir Putin's 10 years, was a steady process of eliminating even a glimpse of democratic procedures from my country. And we say 10 years, although technically he's not in charge. And Dmitry Medvedev was elected by Vladimir Putin, as we say. Medvedev had only one vote, but it was a crucial vote. So to stay there in a presidential office, but we all understand that Vladimir Putin is the person who's calling the shots. Putin's Russia saw certain increase, and some will argue even there was the Russian economy had a huge progress. You're looking at GDP and also GDP per capita. So, but at the same time, you could see that the whole infrastructure is on the verge of collapse, because all this money, roughly $1.5 trillion received under Vladimir Putin from oil and gas exports and other natural resources sold abroad, was not used to improve living standards of the majority of Russians. And if we compare the state of Russian economy in the year 2000 and 2010, there's only probably one figure that can tell you more than any other long study or article with huge available data. In 2000, Russian economy had the largest growth of GDP, and it became a deficit. So Russian budget was no longer in red. Oil was just roughly $20 a barrel, just about over $20 a barrel. Today, oil is nearly $90 a barrel, and Russian economy is in red. The budget is it's again a huge deficit, and also the economy is going downhill. So $20 and $90, and all these 10 years, the oil prices were on the rise. So there's no excuse for dragging the economy that was doing well, was all at $20 a barrel, to a total disaster at $90 a barrel. The reason is, in the year 2000, there was no single Russian name in the Forbes list of billionaires. Today, nearly 100 official names. And of course, the list doesn't include Vladimir Putin and many other top Russian officials who belong there and not to the bottom of the list. So it's corruption, beyond one's imagination. As we say, corruption in Russia is no longer a problem. Corruption in Russia is a system. And Vladimir Putin is an architect of the system. Obviously, he inherited a lot from Yeltsin's years, but now Russia is a classical example of oligarchy, where business and power, they closely merged, and opportunities for ordinary Russians, they are minimized, and it will eventually bring country at the verge of disaster and social explosion. I wish we had a luxury in Russia to think 10 years ahead. So, because I always want to make long-term plans, but Russia is in a very bad shape. So I think that next 10 years for Russia will be a matter of survival. Survival as a state, because we have huge problems in the North Caucasus, started with Chechnya, the breakaway Republic of Chechnya, and now it's according to official propaganda, it's all pacified. But there have other republics there, the spread of Islamic extremism, and also this social disparity. You have the huge poverty, unemployment among the youth, and while the overall demographic situation in Russia is getting worse, there is a huge influx of population in the southern province of Russia. So in the if you look eastward of Moscow, so you will see that there are less than 15 million Russian people living in almost half of Russia, facing China with at least 250 million people living on the other side of the border, and China is gradually advancing on this front, building businesses, naturalizing their own citizens. So there are many Chinese immigrants, both official and unofficial illegal immigrants, and the problems in the eastern part of Russia, Far East, East Siberia, even in some parts of West Siberia, are very serious, because if nothing is done, eventually it will be China.